I'm your host, Eric Jackson, and I'm joined by a very special guest. She's a trailblazer, model, businesswoman, and also happens to be the undisputed super featherweight champion of the world, the pride of Fremont, Ohio, Alycia Baumgardner. AB, how are you?
Hey, how are you? I'm well, thank you.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Thanks for joining the show for
Thanks.
sure. And, I feel like since your career has really started, Alycia, you've really been an advocate just for women empowerment, especially when it comes to your sport of boxing. And how encouraged are you just for a better future, right? After seeing the growth of women's boxing over the last couple of years.
Yeah, I wake up every day and it's another day to be better as an athlete, as a champion, as a woman to empower, not only in the sports world, but just outside of that. And it just goes a long way. Encouragement goes a long way. And when you can empower someone and another woman, it just makes for a better just outcome. You see how we play, we see how we talk, how we move, what we accomplish. And again, that empowerment builds and it comes from within. So it's just nice to see women breaking barriers daily in the sports world, knowing that we don't have limitations because we are limitless.
What's one area that if there was if you were commissioner for one day of of women's boxing, what's one improvement that you still would like to see?
Yeah, one improvement I would like to see is just it be recognized on the biggest. I want them to go all out. If that's from the walkout, if that's from the outfits, if that's from the crowd, if that's from promotion, I want to be in Times Square. This is how we promote. This is how we bring eyes to the sport, to boxing, and show the world like, okay, this is interesting. This is different. This is not your same old school boxing. This is a new era. These are new athletes who are hungry and are willing to get in that ring and get down to get down.
We talk a lot in this business about, building personal brand, and you've managed to do that, not just as a top boxer, but also through other ventures like modeling. And despite being a leader in a barbaric sport, you've really embraced your feminine side. Why has it been important for you to do both, Alycia?
It's important to just show the world that boxing isn't just one way, that the combat sport isn't just one way, and to be able to show both worlds of a beauty and a beast. It combines very well, and you make non-believers into believers, and you just paint a different story for yourself and for the sports world on what combat sports looks like. So I love it, and I think it's just been rising to the top.
No doubt. And how much do you just encourage other female athletes in predominantly male-driven sports to not be afraid to maybe lean more into their sexier side? It seems a bit complex, right? I think some ladies would either be seen as one of the guys, right, or not as soft, if you will.
I think it's just being vocal and being, comfortable in your skin. Again, boxing is a sport where it's individual. You are your own promoter. You are the talent that's going out there and fighting. And so I encourage girls, be yourself. Do what you want to do. Make it look good. Make it just classy, strong, confident. Confident is everything you need in this game. And when you can walk with that confidence, the world sees it.
I know, as Dion once said, look good, play good. I'm sure that translates over, no doubt. And, a little while ago, earlier this year, Terrence Crawford, he mentioned there should be a pro boxing union that should be formed, right? Boxers should be entitled to pension plans, group health insurance, etc. Do you agree with this? Do you agree with this sentiment?
Yeah, absolutely. Being in this sport, it's tough. It has its tough sides, and I think to have security as a fighter is important, especially as a woman too in the game. To have a union form to help fighters have retirement, help fighters, have financial literacy to know what they're doing with their money, and just to show that there's security there. I can say it. I want to box and I'll be taken care of after I'm done fighting, and I think that as a unit, as fighters, if we can come together and create something like that, I definitely see that happening.
Do you think that's plausible? I know there's always challenges, right, in the sport, but do you think that could actually be a reality one day?
Yeah, I think anything's a challenge when it comes to being in this world, but this is what we are. We're game changers, and we want to change the game as women, as men, as a unit, as boxing as a whole. And I believe that it can change. I think we just need the right parts, the right people to be vocal and to stitch it all together. Yes.
Yeah, and for you, AB, you've had deals with Everlast and Box Raw, and among others. I'm sure you had many different brands approach you over the years about endorsements. Outside of money, right? What do you look for when it comes to brand partnerships?
What I look for in brand partnerships is one, connection. Are we connected? Are we seeing the same vision? It's more than sometimes a sport. It's more like the money than you said. It's building that relationship and seeing the visions on both sides. An athlete may see something different, and that's something that I love to incorporate to show, hey, let's try this angle. And again, putting eyes on the sport. Boxing is just one of those sports. Some people know the sport and some people don't. And I think when you can have the average person know about boxing or who's boxing, I think they'll be a fan. And I'm my whole goal is to turn a non-fan into a fan. And so these partnerships are allowing me to have a platform to show the world that boxing is bigger than what you can imagine. It's on a bigger scale.
Yeah, absolutely. And you seem to be touching, different social media platforms, and other avenues to reach that next generation. Definitely. And speaking of next generation, what did you think of this wave of athletes today? Not only wanting to be more involved in marketing campaigns, but also wanting equity as well at times, right? It seems like we're long gone are the days of athletes just being told what to do, get the check, and move on.
Yeah, I think again, this year, this new generation, we're stepping into our power. We're stepping into our voice. I think people, athletes at first, we're thinking like, we do these sports, but we want to be part of the business world. We want to be able to be in those rooms and speaking up for ourselves. And again, we're not just athletes, we're more than athletes. It's beyond the game, right? And we want to be able to expand on those ideas, and I think when we continue to do that, we change the trajectory of what sports looks like, what being an athlete looks like. And again, when we can come together, it makes for a bigger outcome.
Alicia, I got a smoothie this morning and I thought about you. You started your own organic juice business during the pandemic, Temple Raw Juices. And did you feel like there weren't enough healthy options at local boxing gym? What void were you trying to fill when you launched this venture?
Yeah, so one, just starting, my juice business during COVID was a time to reflect on self. It was a time to say, hey, let's get our body better. We're athletes, we're performers. What can we do to have an advantage, right? And that's eating healthy. That no matter what, how you look at it, eating healthy is only benefiting you. And so that was one reason. Then also just having the opportunity to be reachable to those things,
Mm.
right? Even in the inner city of Detroit, going to the gym. I want to eat something healthy after I just put in a 3 hour workout. And again, we're only fueling our bodies. And I love it. I think it just adds another touch to it, and it keeps your body in rhythm to be the best performer you can be.
I know. How did the pandemic just shape you overall in the way your business outlook? It was like, hey, I'm going to launch this. I mean, what else kind of came during that time, right?
I think if COVID didn't like push you in some type of direction to do something for yourself, we need some time to reflect. I know it did for me. We had so much time to myself. I'm like, listen, AB, we're gonna have to do something. And the juice business what it is what it was. And I'm so happy I was able to expand that as well. And the hard part is getting started, but once you get started and you get a groove of it, you can definitely override anything that's hindering, your mind. Sometimes we can be hindered, but we push past that.
Keep pushing.
Keep pushing.
AB, I can tell you have, I know boxing's the main thing, but I can tell you have other interests. And, when it's all said and done and you hang it up one day, what does AB do next? Is it TV commentating? We've seen you do some of that. Is it getting deeper into the fashion world? What do you think is next?
I think it's every avenue. I'm a dreamer. I'm able to just keep dreaming every day. What can I do next? And whatever comes, comes. I love the fashion world. I love to commentate. I love to inspire. I also think about going to schools, having a group of kids just to talk to inspire, to hear it. I think now in today's world, the kids need to hear it vocally, so that they can be motivated and they can inspire somebody else. I know that I had that at a young age. And it's just giving back. It's giving back to this world. It's just in whatever way that looks like, because whatever I touch, wherever I speak, I'm going to encourage somebody. And I think that's what it's about, to continue that love and peace that the world needs.
The community work will not stop for sure, right? Absolutely. And as we wind down here, AB, you've had really different a lot of different experiences, and obviously being a leader in the boxing world. What's just the business lesson that you've learned during your career that's really stood out to you, and one of the best ones you would say?
I would say the biggest business lesson that I've learned is slow down,
Mm.
listen, and reflect. I know oftentimes you may listen to something and it sounds super good. You're like, okay, yes, but really let's dissect those things that you're listening to. And what I've learned in this last year is, pay attention to what it is to actually be your own boss. It's more than just sitting in a room and signing a piece of paper. There's levels to it, and you have to learn. You have to know who your team is, and you just have to make sure that you have a knitted circle who sees the same vision on a genuine aspect too. Sometimes we go
Right.
into things on business ventures, but again, it's building that relationship. It's building that vision board that, that the company sees or that I see that we can execute and we're not going back. So that I would say that would be one of my business lessons that I learned.
No, I love that. In this busy, chaotic world, slowing down a little bit.
It is.
Love that. Well, there you have it, folks. From Alycia Baumgardner herself. AB, thank you so much for taking the time and joining us today.
Thank you for having me.